All right, good morning, good evening, good night. Welcome into NFT Live on the Web3 Network. We're hanging out here on a Tuesday, turning up. I don't know if we'll turn up. We'll see. We'll see how far we get into that. But we are going to cover the Web3 space. We are going to cover some absolute nonsense that is happening with some founders in the midst of this bear market. That should be a good conversation. But Gifted, how are you doing this morning? Good to see your A Pudgy there. I appreciate
Jesus.
it. Call you out.
Oh man, what a way to start the show. Happy to be here with you. Happy to be here with you. Let me know if you've pulled the trigger on any of your reads this year while you're at it. And yeah, I'm glad you like my hoodie.
I actually like your hoodie. Like, I wasn't trying to throw shade. Everybody,
Okay.
It's good to see everybody in the house today. We are going to cover this Kevin Rose situation. We're also going to cover some metaverse situations. I heard you guys talking about Polygon there at the end of the episode, which I'm interested in.
Everybody's talking about Polygon.
Why are you throwing a wrench into the start of this episode?
Everybody's
why
doing
are you
it.
doing this? Jesus. Guys, we started a little bit late. If you didn't notice today, I had an awesome interview with Baron von Hussel of Other Space FM. We actually we didn't realize like we were covering the NFT space at the same time back in those wax days, those early wax days. So we started that combo there. We went into the other side, ApeCoin, and a few others. But again, the major conversation that we wanted to have was trying to pull as much info as I could about what Yuga is building there from guys that are just in that project. And that was the craziest thing, dude, is I was asking Baron, I was like, how do you keep up with everything? What other projects are you in? He's like, no, I literally have everything in the other side. I was like, holy shit, that's the guy I want to follow.
Yeah, again, it's one of these things that you look for in a strong project and a strong community, which is people that are all in, that are creating content, creating resources, supporting the community and the project, adding to the lore, adding, in their own ways, creating fanfic. And to me, it's like what they're doing is they're kind of creating like an updated modern version of the Gamer Guide or something like that. If you remember back in the day, you had those magazines and different resources like that to try and get across the complexity chasm or get the most out of the game that you just spent $60 on or whatever, right? Now you're spending $60,000 on the game and you really want to get the most out of it. So these are, new resources for a new era.
Yeah, I mean, again, a lot of maybe even the success of the NFT space going into the next bull market has a lot to do with whether they can pull off the other side. Like that, I don't think it's that crazy to say that. Like if the other side's really successful, I think that can be a really big boom for what we're trying to do here in the NFT space and the gaming space specifically. So we did start late because of that interview with Baron von Hussel. I'm going to drop the Other Space link here on Twitter for you guys as well. This is the episode for today. And I don't just put Gifted on the controversial thumbnails. I put myself on the controversial thumbnails.
Name one controversial thumbnail that you've been on, Q.
The blur is bad thumbnail. I just looked this up, so I know like 2 weeks ago I put myself on the blur is bad video. So I'm just saying.
I don't even think that's controversial. I think everybody agrees that it is at this point. But
well, that's false. Like already, that's controversial. That's a controversial statement that you're talking about.
That. It's my most controversial opinion. That's what that is.
All right, I'm copying the link. I'm putting it there. If you guys could give it a like or reply, you know how those algos work, and we love a like early in this episode. If you're listening to us afterwards, we appreciate you guys too so much, and also Twitter. I see you guys out there. I see you guys watching Twitter live. I'm looking at you, whoever you are.
We see you.
OVOT. Nox Darkness saying OVOT, great to see you guys. Prodigy, Squashman, Choina, Omar. Good to see you guys here in early. All right, let's just get to it. Kevin Rose fucked up pretty bad yesterday. We covered a little bit of it.
Did he?
Yeah.
Are we making a mountain out of a molehill or whatever that saying is?
I was surprised at the staunch defenders to Kevin Rose this morning. This was a tweet by Kevin. Rule number 1: never talk about floor prices of other projects. So it looks like Kevin's kind of responding to a little bit. Rule number 2, he was talking to Frank to Gods, I believe. I'm trying to find that. But yes, it looks like Kevin even responded to what happened yesterday. So TLDR, again, for those of you that have been living under a rock or don't know what's happening, is that Kevin was on a space yesterday, and apparently there were questions being asked about the floor price. Apparently people were fixated on talking about why did we lose money here? Like, what are you going to do to make me millions? I'm going to be a crypto millionaire. What the fuck, man? And he responded by talking about the Bored Ape floor price and the Pudgy Penguins release of their toys, and seemed to be kind of just casting rocks for no reason at other people. And so that has been the major sentiment from the community, saying, hey, you know, why are you doing this? This is a small ecosystem as it is. This pie will grow and we will all kind of, benefit from that. Well, that's the fallout that we're sitting in here right now. So I do want to get that take. I would like y'all's take there in chat as well. I don't like covering a lot of this stuff because it does feel like high school drama. It feels like we're getting away from talking about really innovative things. But the fact is, Moonbirds is one of the top projects in the entire space. I know that they've had a fallen off moment here, and that's where they're sitting. But Moonbirds and Proof Collective have been one of the strongest, projects in the last 2 years. And for Kevin Rose, who's the leader of that project, to come out and say the thing he did. I know it was a long space. I understand it was an hour long and they took a 2-minute clip, but that's how media works these days. Sorry. Not everyone's, we just talked about having the bandwidth on the other side. You really are judged on some of the things that you say in a 2-minute span in the environment today. You should know that. And so my only take here, GIF, is we got to hold these people a little bit accountable. And that's the only reason that we're talking about it here today, is that we do have a voice in this space and we have an opportunity here to say, hey, this was kind of fucked up. Like, I know it was one little moment, but don't do that. And you're one of the top people in this space, at least from a notoriety perspective. Don't do that.
Yeah. Yesterday I basically sat on here and spoke directly to Cairo, if he was listening, and told him, you for better or worse, you are a leader and people look up to you. So set a better example, right? Like, we don't have enough good leaders in the space. And maybe you can't handle the pressure. It is a lot of pressure. But you took all the, you're the one, Q, that always does a good job of pointing out, if you're going to take all of the accolades, if you're going to take all of the good from the bull market, if you're going to take all that money, all the support, all the followers, if you're going to take all of that, you got to figure out how to hold it together in the bear market. And that's what you're seeing here with the poopy situation. Now with this situation, it's the stress of the bear market and the scrutiny kind of getting to them and them not knowing how to handle it very well. It's poor leadership. And that just is what it is. So again, giving full understanding to the fact that they're under a lot of scrutiny. They're under tremendous pressure. And it's not easy. The bear market sucks. You've got a bunch of toxic, shitty people on Twitter and probably in your Discord coming at you. Understanding all of that, you've still got to be the North Star beacon for, like, where are we going? It's the visionary thought leadership, painting a picture and a vision and showing people how to move forward, instead of wallowing in these really toxic, low-level conversations. And so, like, what I did, or what we tried to do this morning on GM Web3, was refocus around who are the good leaders? What is good leadership looking like? And so, like, I wanted to celebrate and highlight the people that we think are actually good leaders. And so I'll list off a few of those here in a moment. But I think if you pulled in that kind of money like they did, just hire a fucking PR firm, dude.
Yeah.
Like, get off of Twitter. Don't, stop sitting in fucking Twitter spaces and Discord like you're some fucking savant. you're not helping yourself. Go figure out your vision and how to articulate that, and spend more time tweeting threads about where you're going, and going and talking on stages about the future of what Moonbirds is going to do and the IP. Be a leader. Talk about where you're going, and communicate that vision. That's the thing that stands out to me, is what Starwardy's doing, what Betty's doing, what Punk6529's doing, what some of these other people like Yacht. You don't see these people fucking feuding in Twitter Spaces with people over floor prices.
Yeah.
You just don't.
But that's the dichotomy right now, is that, and we covered this, at least in our personal meetings, but also I think probably on NFT Live, is that the space rewards those Twitter Spaces right now. It does. It does. Like, it's this weird thing of like, if you do those things, you will become, your voice will be heard more and more if you continue to do those things, and more flamboyancy gets you more and more followers, and like
there's other ways to do it though, and so it's a choice. It's an MO.
Yeah.
You are choosing your way to lead. And this is the downside of choosing to be this type of leader, or lack of leader. Again, look at Punk6529, look at Betty, look at Starwardy. These people are very engaged. Starwardy came on our GM Web3 space, and he's doing a ton of spaces. You know what I mean? So you can simultaneously be super engaged in the community and not be talking about other people's floor prices, or telling people to floor it and get the fuck out, or just participating in any of the sort of negative rhetoric, finding ways to reposition and, again, refocus the conversation around, where are you going? What are you building? What matters? Why does this matter? Your IP, your story, your lore. There's just things that you can do, in my opinion, that are more positive for the space, and set a better example, and actually lead your community forward, versus this. And so you can sit here and say like, oh, well, it rewards this. It's like, is this rewarding? I mean, we're all talking about how dumb it was, and I don't think it's helping the Moonbirds floor doing this. So yes, maybe you got some engagement, maybe he's getting some more followers, and maybe this MO of just being the salacious, big talker like Frank de Gods, maybe that is an MO to get some level of success. But that can, I just don't think that that's the best way to be a leader, in my opinion. So this is where it gets a little bit subjective, right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the success of de Gods and Ute would say that maybe Frank de Gods is onto something, right? But it seems to me that like he is probably the most successful at that tactic without falling on either side. So guys, if you're just tuning in, we're just starting the episode here. We just pressed start about 8 minutes ago. So nice to see you guys here early. We will continue to have people roll in to talk about the NFT space. And this is what sucks, is like this I don't even want to cover this much longer than another 5 minutes, because essentially I think you have two parties right now. One that is kind of eating up this drama. Like it's an interesting thing to talk about if there's nothing else that day. There's nothing like super innovative that's happening that day. But there's also the other, kind of people that are asking, hey, how do we get better from this? And I think I'm trying to figure out, where are we on that timeline? There's a lot of these threads happening right now too, which is like trying to look at Moonbird's history and see, what they did well, maybe what they didn't. And I was, we don't talk about Moonbirds all that much on the show. I mean, they come up probably once a week, twice a week, because they are probably one of the bigger projects. But rereading this thread, I forgot the amount of missteps that have happened with this project and why it's led them to that 2 floor, and why Kairo's probably feeling a lot of hate right now.
These are bad executions and bad leadership, and that's like, you don't. It's a confluence of events. It is a bear market, bad macroeconomics, etc. But also to take something that's doing that well and to be in this position now, you also have to do a bad job with some things. And I think Doodles and Moonbirds are
Yes.
in a very similar position where it was a string of like not great execution. Like, you know, I'm sure in here is also the proof of conference thing.
Yep.
Right?
Proof
Like
conference, yep.
that's one thing that stands out to me. The CCO thing, I remember, like, I totally disagreed with the way that they handled that CCO thing, even though I wasn't even the community. I was like, yo, you didn't even consult with your community after you sold them on this promise of having the IP for the birds, and people bought into that as part of the value of the project, and then you just took that away without even asking if this was something that they liked. So yes, there's bad macroeconomics. It's a hard market for everybody, but you had something so popular and so good that you actually actively have to be doing a bad job at executing and leading poorly for it to be doing this bad. And on the other side of that, you can look at something like Azuki and Oniforce. Again, it's like same market, but they're doing very different things right now.
Yeah.
Right. And again, I think these are differences in leadership right now. And again, I'm not a fan of Zagabond, and I don't even know exactly who's leading Azuki right now, but they haven't fucked it up, right? Like, you could say one thing about this bear market and Azuki, they haven't
It's like the
gone
Ledger
out.
situation. Like, you don't fuck yourself up.
just don't trip your fucking self up, right? With bad communication, bad execution. And you raised so much fucking money. Dude, hire a fucking PR firm, dude. Like,
so getting into some of these comments, Squashman said, "Oh shit, you interviewed Baron, right on. Can't wait to give it a listen. That episode will be out tomorrow on the Wild Wild Web." Video Game Freak is coming in with some good comments here. He said, "Lesson: don't be the main character." That can go really well. I mean, we again live by the sword, die by the sword. That can go extremely well when you have a face of that franchise. But when it's not going well, good luck, and you're going to be the target of a lot of scrutiny. Video Game Freak is saying, somewhat ironic that Cairo, being the greatest asset for the Proof Moonbirds early rocket ascent, is now perceptively potentially its greatest liability. Definitely after yesterday's spaces. Like, I haven't seen people come at a dude as hard, and that's what happens when you frankly come at one of the biggest NFT projects like that has the stronger. You would have got the same thing out of the gods. Let's be honest. You would have got the same thing out of a couple different collections, but Bored Ape being one of them, that was wild.
Well, this is, first of all, shout out VGF. Love having you here, fam. Great points. This is something that we should all be paying attention to. And and I don't mean just like the obvious, like, oh, the leadership and the teams matter. Obviously that matters, but how dependent on a specific individual is a project? This is important. And so actually, Utes, the gods, that whole ecosystem, I would say right now, very dependent on one person.
Frank.
Very dependent on Frank the Gods.
That's a really good point.
And actually, I see that now as possibly the biggest liability, because he could make a misstep easily. He's a very young, inexperienced dude who, like, given he's doing amazing things and obviously has a lot of great people backing him up and shit, but he could easily go off the rails at any moment and say some dumb, weird shit, or just decide like, fuck this, y'all pissed me off. Whatever it is. Like, there's so many different ways that he could go off the rails. And then again, on the other side of that, you look at how Gordon and Garga have handled transitioning leadership. I think this, again, to me, this is bullish about Yuga. Everybody, like, Marty was fudding Gordon for like taking leave for, again, maybe there's some weird shit going on. I don't really buy into a lot of the conspiracies there. What they said is that he had a history of, some medical issues that he was putting aside that he wanted to go focus on. But to me, actually, the smarter thing here is to find a good way to hand off responsibility to more people, to keep building, like, more experienced, high quality people, so that this giant fucking thing that you've built is not dependent on one or two people. I don't think you want that. If you believe in the longevity of Other Side and Yuga and Bored Apes, You don't want it to all rest in the hands of one fucking person.
Yeah, I've always been on the side of having that person is almost a necessity when you're trying to get your project out into the world. Like if you have a face of the franchise, ETH did this. Vitalik, Vitalik has been the biggest proponent of Ethereum since its inception, and it's what people point to when they think of Ethereum. Like honestly, what when I say Ethereum, what's the first thing that fucking comes to your mind? Probably Vitalik, other than like this broad community ecosystem, whatever you want to call it. But that could be bad if Vitalik it turns out to be some like pedo dude who gets thrown in jail. Like you want to talk about FTX?
What if he's behind Jared from Subway?
Dude, if he is, the ETH price will probably go down. In prediction, and if this happens, then there is some credence to a tinfoil hat, because if Cairo steps down, I just don't think he would. This would be a 40 chess play if he did this to eventually step away. Because we've seen that in the space happen multiple cycles. Is like the stars of that cycle end up, maybe some of them don't make it. Like Vitalik's a dinosaur at this point. Like CZ, dinosaur at this point. The rest of those people that were like stars of the cycles, sometimes they don't come back. Ryan Carson's not coming back. Like he was a big part of this cycle.
Don't never say never on somebody like that. When the liquidity comes back in with some new technology or some new reason, I will not be surprised at all to see Ryan Carson slinking back in with some new project. So I'm just saying, like, that's the type of guy to me that I'm just like, he's all he cares about is chasing liquidity.
Marty McFly says, I agree with Q. Let's go. All right. Yeah. I'll take it.
I don't think I don't know if he specifically like planned to say this to like get out, but like I wouldn't be surprised if he does step down, given like the way that it's been going. They need better leadership. So I think to me the smartest thing that he could do is to do what Yuga's done, which is have a transition plan and bring in top quality talent that has experience building a global IP, a global tech company of some kind. That to me would be the smartest thing. Look, Oniforce, literally, like this is what Oniforce has done successfully too. It took them a lot longer because it was a very, kind of complicated mess with their original team and trying to sort out how to get a new team and figure out the direction that they wanted to go. But that seems to be working out really well, transitioning to a better experienced new leadership team, doing an acquisition. I think the smartest thing that he could do is find super high quality talent from, the world of art and technology or gaming or IP development, maybe entertainment. I don't know what it is, but somebody who's worked at a big studio or big publisher or giant agency that can come in that has the experience building and running a global brand and fucking transition them into leadership. Because all you show when you keep doing this and you keep kind of messing up the execution is that you're not meant for this job. You're not the leader that this project needs right now.
Yeah. I agree with those takes. The last thing I'm going to show here on the screen is going to be an example of like where I hope we move out of pretty quickly, because you can see that this is like kind of it's a small enough industry where this stuff becomes like overarching of like this is the feeling that everybody's feeling right now. And so this is NFT statistics saying publicly attacking people can and does permanently burn bridges. Sometimes it might be worth it, but be selective about when you decide to go there. Take the time to ask if your best, most generous self is the one deciding to attack. And I want to be clear here, and he does go into the thread and say like, hey, look, there's a time to be critical of people too. So kudos on him. It's not like we shouldn't be up here saying, hey, this was a misstep, and again, I agree that like 99% of that conversation was probably him doing super well. And it's really, when you clap back, it's like sports, man. The referee always catches the second guy.
People focus on the negative always. You got to be aware of that, and that's why you got to keep it positive. And I think again, to me, the real misstep is that he decided to engage in this level conversation in the first place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I just think you've got to find ways to pivot these types of questions and this energy into a forward-looking, positive direction. And that's where the leadership comes in. Again, you got to lead people in the direction you want to go. Anyway,
yeah.
So we're having this conversation to try and figure out, though, like, again, my whole positioning on this is like, what does good leadership look like? How do we celebrate the good leaders, and how do we get more of those good examples? Because when you have these top people, you know, again, you call them leaders because I guess they've been given they have these leadership positions, whether or not they are actual leaders. But when you have these top people in the space that constantly are creating these bad examples, like, I really do think it hurts us all.
Yeah, I agree. It's really poetic too. I brought the NFT price floor up a couple times, but it's ridiculously poetic that these are literally 28 and 29 by market cap, Moonbirds and Doodles, and they're going through the exact same situation to the point where both of their founders have come under fire for a response that they've given, and they're sitting at the exact same market cap, almost the exact same ETH price. Like that is crazy. Let's see. Alana's saying, love the underlying technology, but if we're honest, the size by market cap and the daily user is tiny. The interest is going down. 99.9% of the projects are just driven by the idea of making money. I wouldn't say in a bull market. I think that's true. I think that you see a ton of projects launch where you're just like, one, why is this making money? And then two, like, why are there 50 of these launched every day? And we saw this a little bit in meme coin season as well. You're seeing the tokens be created. There's basically vaporware. They're running on narratives. But overall, we've seen a ton of projects in this bear market continue to build cool shit. So I would say maybe 95%, maybe 90%. And that's our job up here, is to sit up here and try to dissect who's doing the real shit.
And for that, we'd really appreciate it if you would smash the like, because we're here pretty much every day doing our best to give you the highest quality editorial and unpack and demystify this whole crazy wild Web3. And we really appreciate it when you give us a like. It makes a big old difference. So thank you.
All right, I want to bring a flashback. Is my connection all right, GIF?
To me, it appears good.
Okay, I'm just making sure. All right, I want to give somebody a flashback. Well, whoever is out there and needed to hear this. This was a year ago today. Crypto Boy came out a year ago today. Who remembers this? GIF, you don't look excited.
I saw her perform this song at the first VCon.
Out of 10. The performance.
I'd give it a 4.5 out of 10. Honestly, so that artist, super cute. I don't know how talented she really is. She had this one song, but she seems like she might be talented. She's clearly young and doesn't have that much experience. So they actually had Nadia from Pussy Riot come up and like basically be like her hype man. And so like that was kind of like the most redeeming, exciting part of it, was that you had these two cute girls sort of riffing off each other, but specifically Nadia from Pussy Riot was like the one basically like putting on a show.
Just getting after it.
Yeah,
okay.
just getting after it. Because you can just tell, again, she's pretty young. She doesn't really have a whole lot of stage presence yet. And so she needed kind of a crutch, to perform in front of on a big stage. But it was a fine performance. It's a catchy song, and it definitely was relevant at the time. It had just like sort of popped off like a week or two before.
So my remembrance of it is July was like the big like viral sensation of this. This guy right here who sang this part. And so I wonder where July is these days. I have to follow up on that kid. But
Is
yeah.
that the kind of follow-up we're doing on today's show? All right. All right. Hey, you know, we cover the culture. We're here for the culture. We're here for the tech. We're here for the design. We're here for all of it. That's what we do on the Web3 Network.
Music, baby. All right. Yeah, hey, we're going to get it to the NFTGO Bag Check. I also ran a poll GIF while we were talking about the Kevin Rose situation, saying, was the Kevin Rose situation a big deal? I didn't really know how people felt about that, right? Like I don't know how the majority of people feel.
Well, crypto Twitter thinks it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Jesus.
well, 75% of you folks said that voted had said that it was a big deal. So,
wow.
Yeah, look at that. Hey,
it's and you know it's surprising. It is kind of surprising, but like there's a lesson to be learned, and maybe K-Ro summed it up himself, saying rule number 1: don't talk about other fucking project floors when you're the leader and people are looking to you as an example. Because especially given our conversation on GM Web3, people that were in that room were like, it didn't seem like that big of a deal at a time. It was this bigger conversation. He was up there doing a great job, taking a lot of questions, but people fixate on the one thing, the little misstep when you go negative, or you cast a stone, or you're not really being a true leader, or you're doing something that's kind of toxic or shitty for the space. Like people hone in on that like a fucking moonbird, like a hawk, man. Like people are just all over your ass because, yeah, you would think kind of by itself, like it's not. It seems kind of innocuous, but.
Yeah, well, it reminds me of that quote on reputation, right? Like you can build up your reputation over 10 years and lose it in 2 seconds, and that's what happened in that room. So we'll see what happens. Hey, we got to get to the NFTGO Bag Check. We also have a couple other stories. I had this on the thread GIF. If we want to put our thinking caps on right now, if you got some ideas, so that in the later part of the episode we can have a rate my metaverse. I'm down to do it.
Bro, where's my 48-hour notice? I don't. What is going on?
No,
here?
that's for the rate my bag segment.
This is a rate my bags. It's just Metaverse edition.
But to people, I mean, are the Metaverse community going to come after us?
Didn't we already do a rate my Metaverse or no? I thought we did.
So. No.
All right. Well, then, all right. Let's do it. Let's nail it right now. Let's just hit it
now.
Yeah, all of them are wrecked except for other side, which is sitting around like A. It can't be S because it hasn't even launched, but it's by far the most interesting project being developed right now. So that's why it could be A. Yeah, but so like other side and A, everything else fucking wrecked, and you're done.
Okay, so for those of you that have no idea what the hell we're talking about, we were looking at this yesterday, which is we've done Rate My Bag since forever, so it's not like we're stealing from somebody else, but this came across my timeline. This is Crypto Stash getting after it, talking about different metaverses. He's got like Fortnite in there, so I think he's doing like Web2 metaverses as well. But if you guys can think of any, I'll keep this on the back burner, and we'll kind of throw it to like a 10-15 minute convo at the end, GIF. Unless you want to hit it right now.
I think it's done. I think I literally just did it. You got my input. That's the algorithm speaking. The algorithm is getting really powerful. It's already figured out the answer.
Okay. Well, I mean, there's a little bit of this that is, you know, kind of we need to like go into Google and chef it up. So you're saying other sides at A?
Yeah, A, B. Like I think it could be A just because it's by far the most interesting thing like out there, but it hasn't launched, so it can't be S yet. It hasn't proven that it's as good as it looks yet.
I'm flying through this. Decentraland has a soft space in my heart. One of the first kind of like ICOs that launched that was like attacking this open world metaverse.
When was the last time you spent more than 5 minutes in Decentraland?
Okay. Oh, easy. I'm not saying I'm going to put them up here at A. Okay. I'm just saying it has a soft place in my heart. There's some provenance here with Decentraland. I would put Decentraland I think they're still a legit project. I'm going to put them in C. Well, we'll see how with an ability to move them down. I would love everybody's take here as well. So,
maybe Pride Month will bump them up to a B. We'll see.
You gotta talk about that though. People don't know what you're talking about. So now
the Metaverse Pride Month party is happening in Decentraland. I think end of June. Yeah, here it is. LGBTQIA plus. Did y'all get all that? LGBTQIA plus Decentraland's Metaverse Pride 2023 will return June
Wow.
27th to June 29th.
Wow.
There you go. Pride Month celebration in Decentraland.
Over under 100 people show up.
Oh man, this is a dangerous game and it feels like a trap. That's a trap.
That's a trap. It's a trap.
That's a trap.
Prodigy's in chat saying send it. So we're in the Rate My Bag swing, a fan favorite, if you will. This is another one that is way closer to my heart than Decentraland. Like, unlike Decentraland, I was building in Crypto Voxels, and Crypto Voxels was an OG like hangout. It still is. They're still like hanging out. Like, I know Easy and Crypto is always in Crypto Voxels. God, man, this one hurts. I'll put it at the same level for now. I'm just trying to get them on the board. I see Yetiverse at S, which I agree with.
If there is one S, it is anything Super Yeti. So yeah, Yetiverse S. I agree. But other than that, everything's wrecked, bro. Let's be honest. Maybe Gotchiverse. Okay, Gotchiverse. All right.
This is great.
Maybe
this is great. Is that Baby Yoda? What's going on here? Okay.
That's their little what do they call them? The ice demons or whatever?
Gotchiverse. I can get it. I can get into the Gotchiverse. Let's see. That's a great pick of the Gotchiverse too. All right. Where are we putting the Gotchiverse? We've been inside the Gotchiverse. It's a little 2D environment, right? It's 2D. I like the functionality. It works. There's another thing. It's live and it works.
To be honest, I haven't spent a lot of time in it, so I can't really comment. I love the project Avagachi, and I will say there seems to be more people that really love and believe in that than a lot of other quote unquote metaverses right now.
I will put it at A just for the mere fact. And again, we're just getting them on the board here. So this isn't final draft or a conclusion here, but just for the mere fact that they are live and have live servers and have people in there and people are earning, that gets them on my list. What else did Stash have here? He had the Sandbox. Fan fave. Gifted's favorite project. The Sandbox.
Look, man. Doesn't it strike you as problematic that you own and have owned multiple parcels in Sandbox?
On all of these, besides the Decentraland.
Point is, you have owned Sandbox, have developed there, have hosted there. It didn't even come to mind as one of the top things. When you couldn't even think of it, you had to go look at some other reference to even have it pop into your head. And to add to that anecdote, when we were looking at this metaverse news about like what's going on with the metaverse, and they named a bunch of them, Sandbox wasn't even mentioned. It just seems odd to me. It just seems odd on an anecdotal level that Sandbox can't even spring to your mind when you're thinking of these projects.
Okay. If you were on this side of the computer, if you will, or the metaverse, my metaverse side, I've got a lot of things going on here. I gotta pull logos. I gotta create the Rate My Bags thing. I gotta pull you up so that you look great on the show. I gotta pull people's comments up. Like, I got a lot of things going on in this noggin here. So the fact that I have to use Stash for a reference, you're not wrong. So I won't look at this anymore until I put one on the board. Okay. Metaverse. So you got like the three big ones, right? Decentraland, Voxels, Sandbox are probably like the three most known metaverse projects. World Wide Web is another one that springs to mind.
There's like whatever happened to Webaverse?
Somnium Space.
Is that a thing? Somnium, On Cyber.
Are those really Cyber?
Yeah. Are those really metaverses, or are they just like galleries? You know what I mean? I don't know. Here
we are. We're at the what is a metaverse discussion.
Yeah, well, because do we want to bring in just open world games as that's the metaverse now, or are we specifically sticking to a very strict definition of crypto native Web3 blockchain? Land.
Would you say here? So again, this is not like we're not getting like super far in the weeds. Hopefully, with that question, would you say like this is an easier one? Would you say Fortnite's the best metaverse in the world right now? What's the best metaverse in the world right now? Oh, you're muted.
Grand Theft Auto.
Is that a metaverse or is it a game? Because Fortnite is doing some interesting things with music there, but they're also a game. Like I feel like it's a little bit more dynamic.
They're comparable. So yeah, you could say Fortnite.
Yeah.
You could say Grand Theft Auto. Dude, did you see this? This might just be speculation. It might just be a rumor, but the rumor that they might have some kind of currency, like real currency.
Yeah.
I think I tagged you.
Yeah, I saw that. We could pull that up. My big thing with those games is they take fucking forever to put out. So we still have got probably 2 years before that game comes out, if that. Somnium Space. See, I haven't been in Somnium Space. This is where we get into trouble, frankly. Is because I'm talking to Barry Van Hussle, who I respect very much as like an OG, and I'm asking him, how do you keep it involved with everything? He's like, I don't. I focus on one thing. So it's tough for us to sit up here and be like, yo, this is the exact ranking. So please don't take this to heart when we're creating these. It's more subjective. Minecraft is another one. I'd say Minecraft is probably S or A tier.
The algo doesn't care about your feelings, though. Remember
it's
that.
True. It's true. You're right. Screw you, algo. Especially since Elon took over. I know y'all are feeling that when I say it. All right. Yeah, I don't think I have enough. I only feel comfortable with Yetis at S.
I think all the rest, except for others that should be in wrecked. Maybe not Gotchaverse.
Man, that is a hard line we're drawing. But if you start to bring in Web 2 like looks at what would be a metaverse, not the ownable metaverse, but the quote unquote metaverse, then these are 100% all wrecked. Yeah, I would agree with you. All right, let's hop in. Let's hop into the NFTGO bag check because that looked like it was going to be. We were like running into a bunch of obstacles. I don't know if you want to hit it. Well, I'm down, but that looked like it was going to go off the rails pretty quick.
Look, we got a strong start.
Okay, NFTGO bag check. Thank you, NFTGO, for being the sponsor on this month's episodes of NFT Live. We love this logo that we peer over. We appreciate you, NFTGO. The link to NFTGO, if you're ever interested, you hear us talking about it every single episode here. If you're interested, there's a link in the description. Go there, check it out, see what they got. They got a lot of really cool tools to track different NFT collections, trending collections, upcoming drops, a lot of really awesome things. So, with that being said, Gif, you got something? Oh, Upland.
No, man. I'm just excited for this bag check.
Are you? Are you excited?
It's cold out here right now. Let's see how cold it is.
It's pretty freaking cold. We're at 18. I think we're holding here. If not a little bit up. Was it 16 or 18 yesterday? It doesn't really matter because it's freezing out here in the bear. Hopefully you're hibernating well. The blue chip index over the last 7 days, we're holding on this May 30th against the 29, 28, 27, pretty much all look the same. If we zoom out to 30 days, we can see we're just really, kind of holding out here. Holding on for dear life. We bounced off a little bit of a bottom on May 25th, it looks like, against USD. Not as much against ETH. And I dare not zoom out to 1 year. On that chart. Market cap and volume, ETH over the last 7 days, same thing. Just holding a pattern here. Volumes look pretty strong. We got market cap increase against USD. That's almost a doubling. It's pretty strong on the daily. And then we got collection distribution here over the last 7 days and 24 hours. So over the last 24 hours, Nakamigos still up there. Pepins, Bored Ape Yacht Club, The Captains, Mutant Apes, Azuki, Pudgy Penguins, DeGods, Clone X, Moonbirds. Out of all of these, what is the most out of place on the top 10 here, Gif? What is the one where you're just like, why is that there? Like Clone X. Like why is Clone X in the top 10?
Yeah, I guess. Like, I would be curious what they're doing. Are people just selling them still, or did something actually happen with them?
The answer is people are selling them.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
That there's a lot of whale activity there in the last 7 days, though. If you take a look at this, there's some whale activity.
Surprised Doodles hasn't popped in there. Apparently, Pranksy's been dumping a ton of Doodles. Yeah, I mean, we really should keep digging more into what's going on with meme land, because captains and potatoes have become standard in the top 10, and we just kind of gloss over it usually. Like, I know we've kind of checked it out briefly, but
I feel like with those projects, I would love to get somebody on either GM Web3 or the Wild Wild Web to talk about that, because it's almost, you're starting from absolute zero at that point, at least from my perspective. 20. So let me go. I believe the last 7 days. So Milady's, Mutant Apes, Opepin, Nakamigos, Pudgies, BAYC, Captains, Azuki, DeGods.
What's your Q? Have you been paying much attention to all of the? I mean, I know we've talked about it, but I don't know how close you've been paying attention. Like, do you have any thoughts on what's going on with Nakamigos and Ben.eth and Beeple?
No,
and all that?
dude, I am so, like, we touched on the Kevin Rose stuff, and that stuff is like, I don't want to stay in that level of toxicity for too long. Right. That Ben.eth shit, I am like, fuck
so
off.
Far away
Borovic.
From yeah. Dude, yeah, Borovic. Do you remember when we did that? Wasn't he on the stage with us on that NFTGO room? Wasn't that him? I think that was him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting to see what he's been up to. I think it's, I have to say, I think it's interesting and kind of poor form to be asking people to send you ETH to buy you a phone. But you know what? Whatever works for you.
I whenever I see that, I don't even read the tweet. Like I am just like,
I try really hard not to, but it's like literally all over fucking crypto Twitter right now.
Who's got a take here? Tell me your take on Ben.eth. Tell me your take on Nakamigos with Beeple. Didn't Ben like sweep Nakamigos or something? Is that what?
Well, that's why they've been pumping.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like over the last couple of days, Nakamigos have pumped, and it's because apparently Ben.eth is buying a bunch of them up.
Gotcha. You know, another token that's popping up. Hey, what's up, Kagion?
Oh shit.
Sheesh. He's got the juice. It's inevitable, so consistent. One day we'll blow up.
Yeah. Hey, smash
a real boy.
Smash the like for the OG lads in the chat right now. Facts. Our vibe, our tribe.
Facts. Kagion, NFT Arcade, Chicken Derby.
Yo, does he know that we like bring that clip up sometimes? That is like still to this day, like maybe my fondest memory of like Lad City and like this channel early on was Kagi just going in on some fucking Chicken Derby. That's like legendary shit.
It was truly legendary. I'm glad we have the archives for that. Choni saying, I heard Ben.eth owns 500 Nakas.
It's a lot.
See, that there's an issue. We know what goes up must come down in a situation like that.
Yeah, that makes me want to sell, honestly, because because that it's been one of my biggest issues with Nakamigos since the jump is it has high supply, 20K, and it's only 30% ownership, which just means that there's a bunch of people holding a bunch of them that can dump. Yeah. There's a bunch of flippers still in that community, right? And so when you've got people holding 500 of them that can dump at any time, just like...
Yeah, I'm going to bring up Nakamigos here in a second. Kagi, while we have you here, man, I know you're a busy dude. We've been talking about CyberKongs. I know you were super tied in with Coco Bear and a lot of those guys in the CyberKongs community. Interested in your take on CyberKongs. We covered them, guys. Let's see if I can... I didn't know that they didn't have a 7-day chart, but CyberKongs basically pumped off the bottom of like 7 ETH, it looks like. 7, maybe a little bit lower, 6.9. It's now sitting at 15 ETH. GIF banana is pumping as well. We got a banana.
What is going on here, fam? Is this another one that we talked about and then like a day later it starts fucking writing? What the heck? Yo, are we just on the pulse or do we have the magic touch? Which one is it? Or is it both?
Are we just extremely lucky gamblers? You tell me. All right, 50% up in the last like 24 hours, basically. Yeah, literally just now. Banana is up. Of course, that's the utility token there in the CyberKongz ecosystem. So I need to follow up on that. But Banana is up. CyberKongz is up. Interesting takes here happening in the CyberKongz ecosystem. All right. What do we need to look up? Nakamigos. Let's check out some Nakamigos. Oh, Pepin's also my biggest not pulling the trigger that I've ever seen. All right. Kagion said they are not going down. Anything Coco touches is making it if he wants it to. There you go. There's the take. All right. There's a wallet feature on here for Nakamigos, I believe, right? Isn't there like a holders tab? Could have sworn there was a holders tab here.
There's somewhere.
There it is. Yeah, there it is. Does Ben.ETH show up on here? Yep, there you go. 5 hundo of these bad boys. Yeah, yikes. And he's in losses. What? He's in a 20 ETH hole. Not that it matters, but Ben.ETH does own 500 Nakamigos. Does that seriously make you want to sell?
Kind of, yeah. Well, because it could go either way, but I think I don't think it's great having centralized ownership of a collection when people can dump like that, when whales can dump on your head, look, the volatility, it'll still probably be volatile for a while, right? So there's opportunity. I think there still could be some upside. I'm still holding a couple. I did flip two. You
got your initial.
Let's celebrate a W. I flipped 2 Nakamigos yesterday. We called the entry point around 0.2. I made about 1.5 yesterday. So, I'm already about half an ETH up and I'm still holding 2 Nakamigos. So you know what? It was a solid bet so far, but it does kind of make me want to almost just I don't know. I'll definitely hold one of them. I might sell my third one though and just take what I can.
So you have 1 Naka left?
2.
2
about
Nakas
4
left?
Yeah.
0.5. Maybe got to roll that into something else. I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe an Oni. Yo, the Jack Butcher shit though is actually fat. It's crazy to look at what he's done and the fact that he is basically since the beginning of this year still been holding down the top 10. He has 2 collections that have been in the top 10 on 24-hour volume for almost the full fucking year.
Yep. Yeah. And
so
I'm not going to stand up here and say that it's not good art or what have you. It feels like a lot of he's going along the same collection. Not maybe. I don't want to FUD. I feel like I'm gonna FUD him.
What are you trying to say here?
I like checks, and then there's a more quality check collection, but it's just also checks. It's genius by that guy, because it doesn't look like there's much work there. I'm gonna be honest.
Oh, I think what he's doing is actually more complicated than you think, because there's generative gamified parts of it. There's partnerships, artist collaborations, the way that it's actually being technologically rolled out, the metadata updates, all this shit that's
probably got a team to do that.
Well, now,
yeah,
he definitely has a small team starting out. I don't know how big his team is now, but now I think it's way more complicated to pull off something like this and actually market and communicate it all properly and then actually execute on it the way that he has. I don't think this shit's easy, bro. I've launched projects.
Art and then the business side of it. I think that there's a separation there. That's all I'm saying. I'm purely talking about the visual of what I'm looking at, but I understand what you're talking about too.
How much time have you spent going through all the different updates that there are? I'm just saying.
Do you want me to pull the checks up on the screen and go through the checks?
Checks is one thing. Pepin Edition's another. But
Pepin is. You're right.
There's some creativity there. There's good branding. There's execution.
I agree with this take. Neon Cat looks way cooler than checks. But again, I rest my case. I agree with you that he's pulling off a really, really this interesting ecosystem of drops. I will say that.
I'm trying to think of where it goes. You know what I mean? Like, is Jack Butcher at this point one of the biggest artists and names in all of Web3? Because it kind of feels that way.
Right now. Yeah.
But name another artist, like a name, a single artist that has held multiple large generative collections that have been in the top 10 volume for 6+ months.
My only take, and again, I'm not in the art scene. My only take would be like Snowfro. That like comes up.
Okay, but also, well, yeah, I guess that's Chromies by Snowfro, or I think it has his name. But also, that's one collection, not two.
It's fair.
So if are you saying that Jack Butcher is bigger than Snowfro?
You're saying that, not me.
I'm asking you, what does it mean that you can't think of a single artist that has had two name brand I am an artist collections that are that big, doing that much volume on top 10, charting on the top 10 for 6+ months? I don't think it's been done, is my point.
Yeah.
So what does that mean in terms of the name Jack Butcher for NFTs, for Web3 moving forward? Does this make him?
Here's one thing that he did really well: timing, right? Like he timed that generative art like drop phase and that open edition phase at the start in January. Like he really timed that well, and he was the most successful at the end of the day. I mean, I know that's a complex conversation to have of why he was so successful, but timing is definitely one of them of why he's sitting where he is today.
Timing is huge, but to me that just fits within execution. I think the whole execution of it has been fucking amazing. And here's what's interesting to me about it is that, to me, Jack Butcher signifies sort of a changing of the guard, in my opinion. And like Beeple, you could say Beeple was a predecessor. I think Cro-Magnus is definitely a massively big, but things like Son Sound or like, and Cro-Magnus wasn't the artist behind Oni Forest, but he created a lot of the peripheral ancillary art or the world for that. But you have not seen Cro-Magnus's name on any of these lists across all these fucking platforms. So like, I love, and don't get me wrong, I think Cro-Magnus is one of the most talented artists in Web3, but I don't know that Cro-Magnus is a name brand yet, like Jack Butcher or Snowfro or Beeple. But to me, Jack Butcher is a real changing of the guard type moment where it's like, okay, you had Beeple, who was sort of the first digital artist that just fucking absolutely became almost like a household name. Like he showed that, oh shit, digital artists can be valued like fine artists now. He kind of like was the first one that planted that seed. Then you've got Snowfro, who kind of built a whole platform. And so you could say, okay, that was the real next level. What does it look like to be an artist and bring in the technology? So I think Snowfro is maybe the other best example. And Jack Butcher to me is the extension of this new world that we've entered into, where you can say, I don't like Jack Butcher's art. I don't think that's really good art, but you're missing the point. What he's doing is just as much technology as it is art. Mm-hmm. So it's like, you can say, oh, I don't get it, I don't really fuck with the art, but you're missing the fact that like, this is code. This is programming. This is generative. It's not just about pretty picture. The way that this is created, executed, rolled out, interacted with, evolved, all of this type of shit is what makes it a unique piece of art, not just the pretty picture.
The process and the interaction are just as big as the actual visualization of the art, is what you're saying.
Yeah, Tyler Hobbs is another great example. Maybe Tyler Hobbs could be in there. I'm less familiar with Dmitry Cherniak. I know the name, but I'm not like, I can't think of his art. So that would be an interesting one to go with. But to me now, you say, okay, I see a clear through line. It's like Beeple, Snowfro, Jack Butcher, and yeah, maybe Tyler Hobbs in there. But I put Jack Butcher now as one of the top 3. Oh, ringers. But see, here's the thing. Can we go look at ringers? Yeah. Okay. So his name is on that. So yeah, I feel like that's an example. But I'd be curious if he has any other big projects. So maybe Dmitry Cherniak should be in that combo too. But I would definitely put Jack Butcher in the top 3 or at least top 5 digital artists now, like NFT Web3 artists at this point.
See, these have more variety to me than the checks, and that's what I'm looking at. Like, and again, just from the visual perspective, I understand that like it's the digital creation of art, and that's the part of like the provenance of what it is. But to me, when I look at this collection and I look at any subsequent collection, which I would love to look at something past ringers, but they have a little bit more variety. Where checks is just now there's like what was the art house that was doing the auction house that was doing checks, like they were just like white checks, and it like I was just like, okay, yeah. Like
I think the checks might still be evolving. I could be wrong, but like so you're not wrong, Q, but I think again these things are kind of living and changing. So they started off a very certain way, and then over time, kind of like the Neon Cat, right? It's like they're burned or they're changed or they're updated in different ways. I don't know that they're at their final form yet. Like I don't know that these are done or not. But either way, the fact that he's done what he's done with it, as simple as you think it is.
Yeah. Wait. What is the differentiation here? Are these not revealed or something?
This is the thing. I don't even know. But isn't it kind of interesting? Isn't it kind of interesting that you can sit here and say, look at how dumb and simple this is,
and yet, yeah.
The market cap on this is what, $100 million or something at this point. Like I don't even know what it is.
Now we're squarely in the art like rabbit hole that we find ourselves in. Like
but these are generative big collections too, right? Yeah. These are more art driven generative art collection, collectibles basically. Yeah. And I just think it's fascinating that Jack Butcher has been at the top. And now has 2 collections still in the top 10.
Yeah.
For the whole year.
That is wild.
Project's boring as fuck. All right. Next topic.
Dude, I thought you brought in a lot of good takes. I don't want to like absolutely like put those down.
I think he's talking about the art. I think he's talking about the art probably. Yeah.
Dude, I'm a novice when it comes to trying to talk about art. So I've done really good. I've done really well with just like sitting there and listening to Jessica and Mo and you and a lot of others like talk about art and things like this. Specifically Jessica Yatrovsky for sure.
Shout out Jess. Shout out Mo. All of the awesome artists in our community. Yeah.
All right, back to DGen shit. We got Reddit collectible avatars. The only reason I bring this up, we talked about it yesterday. It looks like we have like a little bit of numbers here. So Reddit collectible avatars on board nearly 10 mil in the crypto NFT space. We touched on this yesterday. I actually picked up my first. We got a Dune Analytics dashboard. Love to see it. So market cap on all collectible avatars are 45 mil. Total collectible avatars are 10 million. Collectible avatars at 13. Okay, what's the difference here? 13 and 10. Oh, holders. 10 million holders.
They crossed 10 million holders.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Look at that fucking holder chart, bro.
Yeah, that is...
These are unique new Polygon wallets. Custodial Polygon wallets. Bro, this is massive because, okay, again, I know we're all really bad about like trying to predict the future and talk about what happens. But this now becomes a launch pad. That's what I was saying from the jump. Like Reddit becomes one of the most powerful launch pads now for any Web3 project.
Okay, so here's one thing. Like reading between the lines, I agree with that. Like it will eventually. The one thing I think that they haven't figured out yet is the secondary volumes and the actual trading of collectibles. Like it's like a Pokemon card situation or anything like that. You're seeing 10 million holders, but only 542 sales in the last 24 hours, which is telling me that people are basically creating their avatar, and that's just their avatar, and they're not like selling it, and it's just like this thing. So I will put
right. The secondary is secondary here. It comes with time. I think they're doing the smart thing by not fixating on that right now.
I agree. I'm just pointing it out that you see the 24-hour sale there. But yes.
Yeah, we're in the middle of a bear market, and they're not focused on secondary sales right now. That's not their thing. But again, what happens a year from now when there's more liquidity in the space and they decide, hey, we're going to gamify this now. Hey, you know that cool avatar that you've had in your possession, you know those things that you've collected? Here's the new utility. Here's what you can do. You can burn them. You can sell them. You can go do this new thing. You can collect this if you do this.
So
like,
yeah, I'm with you. I'm not like, I believe in that narrative 100%. I'm just looking at it as it stands today. That's kind of where my head is at. I understand that in the future, these will have built out infrastructures and things like this. But today, it looks like there's a lot of transfers being made. I mean, there's 206,000 transfers that have been made on these Gen 3 collectibles. So that's interesting.
I think this is incredibly interesting. I think this is phenomenal. Like, can you actually share this? Like,
why isn't this being talked about? I want to throw that out to the chat.
It is. Are you kidding? This Reddit. Well, okay, maybe it's not talked about as much on crypto Twitter as Cairo and that shit. But it's if you go look at all the trades right now, Reddit is almost every week there's new headlines across all the different trades about what's going on with this.
Yeah, I meant more like that the first part you were talking about, which is like the broader crypto space is probably because you can't make much money on it. There's not a lot of secondary volume.
And because people are fucking high schoolers that are following around what Frank DeGods and Cairo say on fucking Twitter. Like Reddit isn't out here with some wacky fucking, CEO talking shit like Elon Musk or trolling people on Twitter. That's why. And it's not shiny because people aren't like making giant bags yet. But like that Dune Analytics dashboard and the amount of activity that you've seen in less than a year, and the fact that there are over 10 million new wallets in under a year, over $3 million sales volume in small increments. Like you can say like, oh, that's not that much compared to these crazy things. But this, like, don't forget what Polygon does. Polygon scales efficiently. So when you lay a foundation like this that can grow that fast and then add in the adoption curve and exponential like adoption of these technologies, try and think where this goes in the next couple of years. If you don't think that Polygon and layer 2s are the future here, try and figure out what these types of network effects look like when people are transacting regularly.
I'm really interested at the bridging process between whatever the Reddit vault system is, which is their own kind of, native like custodial situation. I don't even know what that looks like behind the scenes, right? But
you can go do it right now.
Well, I created one. I'm talking about what that looks like behind the scenes and that bridge process between, and how to perfect that bridge process to get these people onto Polygon. Because that's the big thing, is like, how do you get these people immersed and educated into Polygon? That's like they've created the wallets. We see that there's a lot of wallets created. How do we get that person to find out about Aavegotchi and be able to use that?
There's going to be a lot of different ways that they can do that now. That's the crazy thing, because Reddit is already a super sophisticated, massively used platform that is great at communicating and pushing out information. This is why this is so crazy important. And we were talking about this early on. I've been bullish on this since the beginning as like one of the biggest use cases. I think also to your point, like, why aren't more people talking about this? Just because crypto Twitter isn't talking about it doesn't mean that like all of the agencies and brands around the world that are developing their new programs aren't looking at this and talking about this internally.
Yeah. Yeah, we've seen them get more and more sophisticated with their drops and their collections as well. So that is one thing to point to. All right. Any last thoughts here on Reddit, folks? If you got it, Marty is saying 10 million people didn't make those. I would agree with that. There's probably a good amount. I wouldn't say a good amount. I don't know if the bots are heavily incentivized here because there's not a lot of secondary volume, but maybe, so let's even say that's a 7 mil. Let's even say it's 7 million people. It's like, that's still a lot. Even 5, you cut that number in half. That's still a lot of people that are transacting when you look at the daily active wallet count on Ethereum.
So it's a fair point. I would think because of exactly what you said, Q, about the incentives not being there to really like put a bunch of time and energy into spinning up a bunch of wallets and botting these types of things, I would assume that whatever percentage of, duplicate wallets it is, it's much lower than the percentage that's in crypto. Like in crypto, there's lots of incentives for why you create multiple different wallets for different things. Even just the way that you transact and try and protect your wallets. You want to like separate out, your burner wallets and your degen wallets and shit like that, or have your cold storage. So I think in crypto, there's a lot of incentives and reasons why you have 5-10 different wallets. I don't think those incentives really exist here. So I would think that it's actually probably, to your point, a very high percentage. Maybe 70% is a good guess, but I think it's probably a higher percentage than you might initially think.
Yeah. All right, we're going to move on to the next topic, and then we do have to get rolling here. Actually, speaking of CyberKongs, I got a double recording here today. So we're not going to put these out on like a daily basis, of course, the Wild Web Pod. I'm going to show that really quick and make sure I get y'all's attention on that. But we do have a member of the CyberKongs community, Henry the Grape, that is going to come on and talk CyberKongs. So again, trying to figure out. I feel like we're putting our money where our mouth is. I think
I met him. I think I know that dude. I think I hung out with him at ETH Denver last year.
So I'm gonna drop this real quick in chat, and we're gonna be talking with Henry the Grape here to talk about CyberKongs. Which again, to the point I was trying to make was we're kind of doing this to, one, learn about the space, but also get in-depth detail in ways that we can't because we're not in that community. Like that's the whole idea. So I want to definitely make sure y'all get that, but we will be talking with Henry today. I don't know when that episode's going to come out. I think it might be next week, but getting an update on CyberKongs is going to be legit. So you said you met him?
I think Denver? I did. Yeah. Ask him if he goes to ETH Denver and if he was there last year, like not this year when we did Web3 Lounge, but if he was at Denver last year and if we met. But yeah.
Okay, I'll let him know. So the situation I've got here is I got a thread that I just saw on my timeline. I definitely want to pull it up for y'all and get y'all's questions. I haven't even seen the answer to it, so I'm interested just right off the cuff. If you got any more links, gift, let me know. I can pull them up here. Or if you guys are in the chat, you want us to pull something up, you got a topic. I know there was an anonymous question.
Did you see this
earlier?
This is on Henry the Great. You can ask him about this. This is on his Twitter timeline. Did you see this?
Yeah, so this team is the one behind the the CryptoPunks, the artist that was wearing the CryptoPunks dress. So this team right here, Vivian Tom, is the team behind that. So you can see there's the CryptoPunks dress there.
Interesting.
So, all right, I'm going to put your attention towards this thread. I'm interested in one, just your answer. This could be a lightning topic here. The fall of crypto Twitter. 3 major things that are stopping this space from progressing. So we started this episode basically asking the question like, hey, like this, we're making the statement that like this stuff doesn't push us forward. I'm guessing this thread is coming from that, right? All this Kevin Rose situation doesn't move us forward. It's not innovative. It's bullshit. So yeah. I'm interested in what he's saying. The 3 major things that are stopping this space from progressing, though. Okay, so I'm getting out of my director hat here so that I can think. 3 major things stopping this space from moving forward. Grifter founders. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, you go ahead. You started this. I want to hear where you're going.
Grifter founders. This is a bad take, probably because we need whales, but whales hold us back a lot of times because what happens is everyone's kind of chasing the bag that's being created by these whales by FOMOing the projects.
But is that is the problem there more like centralization or like lack of liquidity?
So I guess the major issue that I see with what I'm trying to point out is the casino effect, right? That you get from having these whales involved, like a Machi, for example, or other people that are you see the art gobblers effect. Whoever ran art gobblers up, that's a problem in this space, is what I'm
That was
kind of trying to get
Paradigm.
at.
Don't we know
We
who ran
don't.
that up?
We don't really. We don't. Like Paradigm was a part of it, but they invested in a ton of different projects too. Like they were there. Like I don't know to what level Paradigm was involved, and unfortunately we won't, I think, ever know. So
Yeah, that's fair, but I'm pretty sure a big part of what Paradigm does on a project like that, besides the consulting part of it and helping to like, figure out the launch plans and go to market and like actually, help execute it in different ways, is they infuse capital. Like I think that's
but that's what a
big
lot of
part
different
of
funds do. A lot of different, like
right, but we know specifically Paradigm was behind Art Gobblers.
yes, I don't know to what extent they were behind Art Gobblers. I know that they invested in the project, but that can be
I
said
think
to
it
a lot
was
of people.
That's fair. I think it was probably a pretty big part of it, but yeah.
I can't prove it. Like that's my thing. Like I don't want to get up here and say like, oh, Paradigm was sitting in the room with Justin Roiland and saying you need to do this XYZ. Maybe, maybe. I just can't ever fucking prove it. I wish I fucking could and hold their feet to the fire. All right, your answers here, because mine was basically this casino effect, the grifter founders, and I really don't have a third that's coming to mind right now. I love the liquidity point quantum variant.
So the thing that came to mind with me is the zero sum game mentality. And maybe you could lump this into just like toxicity and the engagement farming aspect of this, like the sort of reality TV algorithms, trying to like dunk on each other and FUD each other to get engagement and like score cheap political points. Like the over the over. Okay, so a couple, maybe I'll make this 2 points. So there's the over, is it fetish? I guess it's fetishization, or like
It's idolizing.
Idolizing certain people and putting them on on pedestals is one thing, and then there's the mentality of like zero sum game, sort of like toxic PvP ness of it. These are two things that maybe could go together into one toxic bucket, like just toxicity in general. But the PvP zero sum game mentality is like really fucking us up, and I think Cairo fell victim to that, which is it's rampant on Twitter. This idea that like you only win if these people lose, or because there's low liquidity, like I'm focused on just trying to take ETH from other people, or like set myself apart by dunking, and like if I make other people look worse, then I look better. Like that idea, instead of the wag me, all ships rise together, let's figure out how to onboard and grow the entire pie for everybody, I think is just killing us right now. It's the crabs in a bucket, as I call it, or PvP, as you and Mike call it. But really, I see it as just zero sum game mentality. It's what's the other word for it? Scarcity mindset.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As opposed to abundance, right?
True.
So everybody in this bear market has given in. A lot of people, at least that are still here, have given into a very scarcity mindset where nothing, fuck every other project that isn't mine. All I'm going to do is pump my bags and try and dunk on other people and try and move liquidity out of your wallet into my wallet. And that zero sum game mentality, I think, is fucking just ruined a lot of the ethos, that original wag me ethos, and the hope that a lot of people saw in the space, and the community aspect of it has been fucking obliterated by that mentality. And then, just the over reliance on these iconoclastic founders that can do no wrong, and like literally betting on like your whole life on this one person. Like,
the Sam Bankman-Fried effect.
The effective altruists. Like,
so I want to get to this. I want to get to this thread real quick. I guess my third, very quickly, is the copy pasta mentality of this space sucks. Like it's actually what leads to like low innovation because you basically get like a situation where people make a ton of money just doing the same thing. Like derivative
Yep.
projects. I'm not shitting on you guys, but like
Yep.
there's an element to that. You know what I mean? Like there's some
Hmm.
really cool derivative projects like Jeff Jagg's Builders of Titania, like where he's like building his own kind of thing into like separate projects, and then there's like the ape drop. You know what I mean? Like, oh, we're gonna get as close to a bored ape as possible and just
Yeah.
drop it, and we'll see if
Well,
people like it.
well, Ryder Rips is like
Yeah,
to me an example of like how toxic that whole situation can be.
yeah,
Where you're literally not actually going to try and invest in creating something totally original on your own at all. You're literally going to try and make your business as a troll. Like I am just going to troll and rip off other people because I think I can get away with it in this space. And that's how I'm going to become a multimillionaire, is by just ripping off other people and trolling fucking people. And dude, that's just such a big part of this space, man.
it is, dude. There are a lot of projects that exist today. Successful project. ETH was an ICO. ETH started as an ICO. The idea of an ICO is great. You have crowdfunding from across the world. Anybody can send ETH, and you get to be incentivized in that project and hold those tokens and all that stuff. Guess who fucked it all up? The copy pasta motherfuckers that said, "I'm just going to create another ICO and we're going to do this and yada yada yada," and then it just completely got obliterated, and it sucks.
So the question then to you, Q, is how does that make you feel about regulation?
I think that we've always found a way in this industry without regulation, and I think these people don't understand the industry that they're trying to regulate. So
So it doesn't make you feel like it would be better to have more guide rails or more, I don't know, more stringent, gatekeepers of some kind, so not everybody could just launch their shit coins and all that type of stuff. You don't see any need for it. You feel like it just sorts itself out eventually, despite how damaging it is.
yeah, because I think a lot of projects that you see today have been created off that decentralized mindset of like, hey, we're a Bored Ape Yacht Club. We created a landing page that had Web3 functionality, and that's how you interact with us. And those are
Which Yeah, which kind of gets back to the saying that the only rule, really to me, Cairo's rule number one is don't talk about other people's floors. I guess my rule zero is still survive.
facts. That is literally rule zero. You
Yeah,
can't be around talking about this shit if you do not survive. So I look,
yeah,
the wild wild west mentality that we always use, and I'm gonna get to some really good comments there in a second. There's gonna be big towns that are built. Like eventually there's infrastructure built, and then
the
we move on.
Gotchiverse.
We move on. Yeah, the Gotchiverse is built right over there. And then we head out to AI to chase the next shiny object. Right? Get that?
Oh, we haven't really made our official announcement here, Q. I feel like
Okay, right before that, I'm gonna get to some of these comments before we go. Quantum Variant saying liquidity is an issue in the space. Very fucking true. Justin Murray is saying friction with onboarding. Also saying scams and profit motive only incentives. Leaders who spread FUD and bad behavior. And then Prodigy saying lack of obvious ways to onboard people, especially the older ones.
all great points.
Drew
Well
Bleem's in the
said.
house. It's wild how much people FUD and yell wag me. Facts.
Like us.
That is, what? No.
I'm kidding. We're the good ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody else is bad.
I don't know where we want to go with this one. This is why I tend to gravitate and build in Web3 payments, not NFT or DeFi. Feels more like root of crypto and less like a scam world. Prodigy's asking, are we ready to give control away? Left Action now saying too many clicks, too many greedy. If we all going to make it, the way is to help, collab, give, share, and we might get there a little faster. Quantum Variant saying, I don't see regs changing anything except making it illegal for us to trade them. I agree with that take. It's like if they come in and they're like, hey, you can only buy via our platform. And oh, by the way, New York City, you guys haven't figured your shit out, so nobody can trade NFTs over there. It's like, that's what we're going to get.
Yeah, it'll be a fucking mess. Shout out Drew Bleem. Haven't seen you here in a minute. Love seeing you here. Hope you're having a great week, my friend. It's awesome to see you.
Okay, let's get into these answers because we basically went on like a 15-minute like a tirade here.
Didn't we
Uh,
cover it? Didn't we hit it
no, I
already?
want to. I want to see what he
All right,
says.
what's he got?
What does Aaron say? All right, number one, Web3 panhandlers. This trend needs to stop. No one outside the space will think highly of us. This is what we're seeing. I guess he's talking about the Ben.E situation. So
I
like
think
the
he's
grifters.
talking about all of them, though. I mean, that whole crew, like even Borovic feels very panhandler. What he's doing with his fucking send me ETH for my iPhone, like, bruh.
So this gives me .com bubble PTSD, where people are investing into things that have no inherent value. Not just
Yeah.
that, but investing into things with no real plan. Goodbye WAGME culture. Where did the WAGME? Okay, all right, we're
Yep.
hitting on it.
Dude,
Okay, Aaron.
we're on point.
All right, Aaron. All right, and three, scams and hacks. All right, so Aaron,
Brilliant
great minds think alike, man. I like to see it. He said scams and hacks. Every day someone new is either getting their wallet drained or account. Actually, this goes into Prodigy's point too, right? Like the onboarding people in the right ways where they're not going to get scammed, especially if maybe they're not tech savvy. The majority of people in the space are still uninformed about common scams, hacks, and fall informed. This needs to change.
Yeah. Well, this is a great callback for what we were looking at on that Reddit Dune dashboard. Mainstreaming is not going to happen from Web 2 into Web 3. It's going to happen through Web 2.5, through custodial wallets where they don't even know that they've set up a crypto wallet. They don't even fucking know because the FUD is too great. The negative headlines and the scammers are too many. And right now and the onboarding experience is too flawed. It's not smooth enough. So bottom line, this is why I'm so amped up about Starbucks, about Nike, about even we didn't even really, we did hit on Mercedes NXT. You know what? Again, I'm not trying to sit here and pretend like I think it's going to go great per se. I want to wait it out and see. But I'm just excited that you can now point to global consumer brands treating this space like an actual opportunity to create a unique and valuable experience and invest time and energy into creating something interesting and high quality, as opposed to rushing in with their hand out like, here's our expensive NFT. We're so-and-so. You've heard of us, right? Buy our shit. So that's what it feels like is going on more. And I think, again, these case studies are invaluable to showing the way forward because everybody looks to these brands. The biggest brands in the world are watching Starbucks. They're watching Nike. They're saying, what are they doing? And how do we do our version of that?
Yeah, I guess my mind always goes to with the tribe that we have here, obviously being able to say, hey, how do we get involved in that? Before... And what's the benefit of that, right? Like, what's the benefit of Starbucks getting into NFTs? Like, that's really, like an existential question. It's like, why do you want Starbucks to get into NFTs? I've seen this question thrown around on crypto Twitter. It's like, do you just want mass adoption so people like your bags go up? I know Kane hit us with that before, and it's an interesting question, man. Like, I think it's nuanced, like, because why do I fucking care if Mercedes gets into NFTs? So it's a it's a nuanced question.
It is a nuanced question. Do we want to try and answer it, or do we want to do a whole show on that?
I do. So I do have Henry the Great from CyberKong's community in for a podcast here at the top of the hour. So we probably have like 5 minutes left. I need to like do some type of prep for that. But we're professionals, Gift Ed. We don't need too much prep. But yeah, I mean, so what is the importance of Starbucks and Mercedes getting into NFTs? Because right now it does feel like those are potential roads for your friends. This is what I look at, right? It's something as simple as like, if those people pull it off, there's more likely of a chance that in my day-to-day life, people will start interacting with NFTs and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah. Well, Quantum Variant summed it up. It's use cases. You have to have viable, many accessible, simple to understand use cases. And that's how you onboard. So it's like, why do you care about mainstream adoption? We can answer that a million different ways. But how do you get there? Starbucks. It's like literally that simple. Why do I care about Starbucks? Starbucks. people care about Starbucks.
I think
that's it.
I think
and
the
that's
question
like,
though is more about like, why do you care about mass adoption? Not that
right.
Starbucks
Okay.
can
So that's what I'm saying.
help us.
These are two different questions. So you asked like, why do I care about Starbucks? I care about Starbucks because I care about this technology proliferating and mass adoption. Why do I care about mass adoption? Because
Gifted.
yeah.
Hold on.
Oh no, are we sure this is real? This looks real. Chungo presale today. Holy shit.
I totally ruined your train of thought there. If you want to finish it out, but it looks like a Chungo presales today.
So mass adoption of the technology matters for it to proliferate, right? So that's why I care. Do you believe in decentralization, self-sovereignty, and all the things that this technology can empower in our day-to-day lives? Do you believe in all of that? Well, cool. You can still have that as long as we can, build out the infrastructure for it to actually work, right? That's it. We need liquidity. We need mass adoption. We need more people using the technology, more brands, more businesses investing in the technology. We need the infrastructure to grow. And then all of that does benefit Web3. Web 2.5 is built using Web3 technology. Ethereum benefits, Bitcoin benefits, Polygon benefits, all of these different tokens and things that we are invested in. We all are stakeholders in these things, and we benefit from the network adoption, from the network effects of these things. So I am like it's kind of rudimentary to just say like, oh, I just want mass adoption because number go up. It's like, no, I've invested my life this direction because I believe in what this technology can do and the values of that way. Like, I think this is a more interesting, better way for humanity to go, to have more ownership, to have more self-sovereignty, to have more autonomy, all these different things. And so, yes, I invest that direction because I want to go that way. And so, of course, I want to benefit. I am a stakeholder. That's actually a core value of all of Web3, is that you are a stakeholder in the network and in the value that's created. You're taking back some of that ownership, right?
Yeah, the ownership is the key for me when it comes down to this. Like, we even get to something as more detailed as like the specific Web3 gaming sector. I would love to see more games, and all games have ownership within them. And I know that's like kind of like a small topic when you go along the macro look of like, people in the world should have ownership of their money. Like, at the end of the day, like, that core belief is what started a lot of this space. So that ownership piece is so true when it comes to like why, one, I'm in the space, but I feel like a lot of individuals are, is like ownership should be had in a digital environment. And the more people that come on board with this, the more it starts to proliferate. And that's where we're at.
Decentralization comes with disintermediation, right? That's a big part of this. So that ownership includes pulling back more control and more of that value from the centralized systems that have been absolutely like taking everything from us, all of our data, all of our autonomy, all of our agency. So much of our value has been absolutely monopolized by these big companies and these big banks, et cetera. So, Justin Murray's making a fair point, saying I'd rather my local coffee shop saves money on merchant fees using crypto versus Starbucks doing anything. That's fine. That's a beautiful, idealistic version of humanity. And I'm for that too. But also I'm in a realistic place where I say, hey, Starbucks is one of the biggest brands in the world. It's a business leader.
It'll have more of an effect.
It'll have way more of an effect. So like, I want to have both, because to tie it back together with Quantum Variant over here saying all of this leads towards more freedom and sovereignty in the greater world.
Yeah. Well,
that is it.
To another point, we're talking about decentralization and talking about centralized side chains like Polygon. It's like the idea, I believe, is progressive decentralization. That's the idea that we're talking about right now. Things don't start immediately decentralized. And you know, Bitcoin was extremely centralized when it first started, and like you have to look at things in that timeline perspective, I think, to kind of have that progressive decentralization thought. So the highlight here that we brought up, and I do have to run here because I have to have some type of prep for this podcast, is so we're involved in Chungos. Like we love the Chungos project, and when I say involved, I mean we have like a collaboration.
These we's you're throwing around.
Own Chungos. I own a Chungos.
You do?
I own one Chungo.
Did I airdrop you one? I said I was. Did you send me your wallet? I said I was going to airdrop you one, Q. I don't know if it ever happened.
I did send you a wallet, and I don't think you sent it to me. So, and I saw those comments as well saying that we didn't airdrop them their Jessica Yatrovsky piece. So we need to get on top of that. I'll be DMing you guys here in just a second. But yeah, apparently a Chungo presale. This is a not an unlike a Chungo move, though, if you want to be honest. Like, we did not expect this. This is kind of like a surprise announcement here that there's a Chungo presale that could not even be a real thing. We don't know. That just literally was tweeted 5 minutes ago. But interesting. They need to buy an IHOP. That's what they need. A real business.
It's a great story. Are you buying Chungo's token presale? Let us know in the comments. How degen are you degenning today? Let us know in the comments if you're going to pick up some of that Chungo's token. Jesus.
And we haven't said it all episode, but this should not be construed as financial advice. So please do your own research, guys. All right. Well, we got the disclaimer out of the way in the last second of the episode. I'm sure the SEC loves that. But we appreciate you guys all the way through the episode. Thank you guys for tuning in. I know a lot of people are still on Memorial Day vacation, coming back maybe today or tomorrow. So we're holding it down while you guys are gone. If you're tuning in afterwards, thank you so much. If you're tuning in and participating, thank you even more.
Yo, we didn't hit Bonk. Bonk is picking up right now, by the way. Maybe tomorrow we'll check in, see if it's still running. But
Henry's going to be pissed at me if we cover Bonk and I'm rolling.
Nah, we'll do it tomorrow. Okay. I did look at Bonk, though, this morning and talk about it on the show. Just letting you know, Justin.
Waiting for Yeti. All right, folks. Our vibe, our tribe. Everyone's waiting for Yeti. See y'all tomorrow.
Obviously, Moonbirds.
You got open. Mention NFTs one more time, and it's guaranteed we're not fucking tonight. You got open sea on your mind, when it should be me that you prioritize. Trying to get through, but it don't compute, cause you're busy aiming for the moon. You think I'm enthused, but I got some news for you. I don't care about your crypto, boy. Not at all, not even one Bitcoin. CEO of being unemployed. I got nothing left to give, no, to another crypto boy. You care more about your currency than you do about us currently. I don't need much, no private key to open up and talk honestly. Cause you're an addict getting mad, you better mask what you mean. In every single conversation you're out in open sea. It's been so long, so either one, you choose your wallet or me. Well, better hope you're getting laid in Web3. I don't care about your crypto, boy.